Good evening and welcome once again to the LBJ Grasslands near Decatur, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a detailed field evaluation of the Fenix HP16R Headlamp. Now you probably know the score, proprietary battery pack. As I'm recording this video right now, best information I have from Fenix is that it's at least another 30 to 45 days before these are available for individual sale at the Fenix store online. Until then, your backup option, 4 AA's. Now the AA's come with some caveats. Number one, can't have flood and spot activated simultaneously. Number two, if the spot is running in turbo mode, the output is limited to a maximum of 800 lumens as opposed to the 1300 that is available from the battery pack. Now my use case is wilderness search and rescue. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I carry 3 headlamps in my loadout. Primary, backup in case of failure of the primary, although it is nice if the primary and backup have complementary function. The third headlamp is just to give to another person in the event that they need light during an extraction. Now I'll actually carry 5 to 6 here in the truck. I get on site, mission objectives, what I know about the terrain, all this information goes together, then I choose the primary and the backup from that information. So I evaluate a lot of headlamps, and when I do, I typically have 1 or 2 very specific use cases in mind for that particular unit. Tonight's goal, I want to look at 2 things. Number one, how well does this headlamp perform in a generally wide open environment? The thing I like about the grasslands here, I don't care how powerful your headlamp is, how many lumens it has, I can pretty quickly find a spot out here where that unit appears underpowered. So over the course of a long night, I want to see how well does this do in wide open areas. I'm particularly interested in what I call the 400-400 mode. 400 lumens in the flood, 400 lumens on the spot. I'll be running in that mode predominantly tonight. However, I also want to try out some area searches. It's very common when I'm searching an area to make notations in my notebook while I'm searching. You know, for example, there's a small pond over here, then the tree line, then there's a depression, there's a small gully, then another tree line. I'm writing as I'm searching across the territory. It's nice to be able to do some of that with my headlamp as opposed to write and then have to use the auxiliary lights here on my ruck. So probably 80% of the time 400-400, the remainder of the time 400-1300. My goal is, or my hope is, to get a minimum of 3 hours in that mode of operation. 3 hours is kind of a critical time for me because with all of this gear I carry, I'm going at it pretty hard, maybe no more than 1 5-minute break. After 3 hours, I need to take kind of an extended break, at least 15-20 minutes. I don't like to hot change batteries in the middle of the search. I'd rather do that during downtime along with other administrative tasks. So if we can make it tonight at least 3 hours 10, 3 hours 15, circle back around to the truck here, I'll call that a successful evaluation, and then we'll switch out the battery pack for the 4 AA's, and we can compare the performance of the headlamp with the proprietary battery pack versus the AA's. So I've probably got 20 to 25 minutes before it's dark enough to go out. I'll check back in, and we'll see how this performs. Fenix HP16R Headlamp. I hope that shows up on the GoPro. We're at the dead end of civil twilight right now. I'm currently running in 400-400 mode, so let me get this down just a little. There we go. So this is the campground that I'm currently parked at. like I said, end of civil twilight. We've got a bright moon out tonight. We still have just a tiny sliver of sunlight out. This is what it looks like in the basic mode I'm going to be evaluating. The plan is I'm going to head out in this direction, take the segment of the outbound Blue Trail in reverse back to Tadra, which is the trailhead here at the Grasslands. Tadra stands for Texas Arabia Distance Racing Association. Then what I'll do is I'll head north out of Tadra all the way back like this. We get to one of the inbound segments of the yellow, and then we'll cut across some territory, work our way all the way back up here. Then we'll go out to FS 900, which is the road, and then we'll go up and down the road. There'll be a lot of wide open territory to examine, and along the way we'll stop and evaluate all the different modes. But I'm going to wait until the sun goes down just a little bit more before doing that. Well, we are headed roughly north out of Tadra. That's our direction of travel. This is a point I seem to stop at about almost every headlamp evaluation I do. The furthest edge of the tree line out there is about 80 to 85 yards, which I can see now. It may not show up on the GoPro. There is a lot of particulates in the air tonight, and the GoPro is going to have trouble accurately showing the beam at distance. But this 400-400 mode is pretty impressive. In fact, if I were to bump the spot up to turbo, I mean, just from here, I can see a little bit more out of it, but not that much more. So let's drop the spot down to its lowest. So now we have the low spot. This is most, you can see just barely a hint of a spot. So this is almost all flood. I mean, pretty good peripheral illumination. So let's run the spot up. Okay, that's back where we were. So I'm going to move on down the road past the fence, and then we'll head out towards the inbound section of the yellow trail where it crosses the creek, and then we'll cut back over this way and head back up to the truck. And at that point I'll stop and show you what all the individual modes look like. Okay, so we've come past a fork here. You can see there's just a lot of brush and trees and growth around me. The thing I like about the 400-400 is that the reflections coming back off of this spot are not so bright that they don't prohibit me from seeing just kind of back in through the trees. I mean, I have slightly light sensitive eyes, and so if the reflections are too bright, that's bothersome. This seems to be just about perfect. And then of course I've got fantastic downstream or downrange illumination as well. This section right here is the inbound of the yellow and blue. It comes up here and then works back to Tadra that way. Orange trail out that way. The red trail crosses right in front of us. However, we can actually keep going in this direction, work our way back up to the fence line, and then follow the fence line back to the truck, which is what we're going to do. So let's just do a quick 360 here. We're still in 400-400 mode. All right, time to get back to the truck. Well, that was a nice long segment, almost 800 yards, all uphill. We are back at the campground where we started. I'm going to take some time and go through all of the light modes and let you see what they look like. Right now we're in 400/400, so that's 400 lumens on the flood, 400 lumens on the spot. I'm going to go ahead and turn the spot off. It's a half-second hold, so this is what 400 lumens looks like, or high, with just the flood. Now we go directly from there into red, which you probably can't even see. Then from there to flashing red, then to low, medium, and back to high. So now let's turn that off. And now all you can see is the moonlight. Let's go back to the spot. Okay, so that's what 400 lumens looks like on the spot. Now we'll go up into turbo, or 1300. Definitely see brighter reflections off the trees. I can see deeper into the trees. Then that's the low, medium, high, turbo, low, medium, high. That's what we were on. So now let's turn that off. Of course, it has memory, so all I have to do is go back here, turn on the flood, turn on the spot, and I'm back to where I started. Again, I love Fenix controls. Very easy to use. I've already tried them with gloves. They work great. Very intuitive. I mean, this is a headlamp that you almost don't even need a user's guide. So what we're going to do now is, you can see FS900, the road in front of me. We're going to take that roughly north all the way out to 2560. We'll go past Little Cottonwood Lake, lots of empty campgrounds we'll go explore through. Lots of opportunity to see exactly how this headlamp works. And here's how we're doing on Runtime so far. I mean, we're getting in the ballpark of 50 minutes so far. So I don't know if you can see the reflection of the eyes in front of me. Now I'm running the spot in turbo mode. I've been watching these guys for a couple minutes. Those are 2 deer. I kind of yelled about a minute or so earlier and they ran off and they stopped. But it's kind of interesting. We're getting to that time of year, there's a lot of wildlife out. Now they've moved just out of range of the headlamp. I'm going to do a quick 360 here. You can tell the difference with the headlamp in turbo on the spot. I mean, I could definitely do some serious area searching with this. This is a total of 1700 lumens. I've got just enough spill coming off the flood, you know, just to be able to see what's off to the side. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it in this mode for a few minutes and I'll check back in later. I am back in 400/400 mode. We're walking up on yet another campground out here. We're just over an hour runtime. I've noticed that the headlamp is definitely warm to the touch, but not overly hot. Like I said, we've been at it just over an hour. I ran it for about 5 minutes with a spot on turbo. I'm just going to take a quick look around the vicinity of this campground. You see, I can make my way through here, but the reflections off the trees are not killing me. Now on the GoPro, it probably looks a little bit brighter than it does to the unaided eye, just because of the exposure value I'm using. I mean, I'm staring right at a tree there, and it's no big deal at all, so I can still see through the trees fairly well. So this is definitely a good general make it through territory and search mode. Really nothing back there other than brush, so I'm going to head back to the road, and then we'll head on to Cottonwood Lake. So we've been at it about an hour and 20 minutes. We're at the edge of Cottonwood Lake. Cottonwood Lake is just behind me. It's a little bit easier to see the outline of the lake with some of the moonlight out tonight. You can see this section right here where the blue trail continues on down. And then we've got a very good view of the tree lines off in the distance. Now I'm running the spot on turbo mode right now, so this is the full 1700 lumens that is available from the headlamp. In fact, while we're at it, let's do something fun. Left shoulder, let's bring in the TK22UE, that's 1600 lumens. Then on my right shoulder, we've got the TK16 version 2. So that is 6,400 lumens of illumination downstream. I should probably say something dramatic. If only you understood the power of the Fenix side. But yeah, that's definitely very, again, I'm all kind of converging there. Yeah, there we go. So that's almost like having a 6400 lumen flashlight. Fenix TK22UE HP16R headlamp and TK16 version 2 flashlight. Oh well, we're just back to the headlamp now. That was fun while it lasted. Like I said, we're pushing an hour and 25 minutes, so I'm going to leave this on turbo mode for about another 5 minutes or so, and we'll head on up roughly north to FM 2560. That was another long segment, pretty much all uphill. We've reached the end of the proverbial road. This is where FS900 meets 2560. I'm going to bump the spot up into turbo. There we go, now we're in turbo. Let's do another quick sweep here. Now you may have seen some adjustments there. I believe that's a little bit of temperature regulation. Got a car coming, that's rather unusual. Yeah, the headlamp is definitely cooled back down, so that might have been a little bit of regulation, but that's what it looks like in turbo. And I'm going to turn around and head back. So here's the current time. I verified what happened is that not all headlamp modes are available to me. We haven't even made it to 2 hours, and I only have a limited number of modes available in the headlamp at this point. So it looks like at this point our evaluation is winding down. I'm not even sure I'll make it to 2 hours. I guess I'll I'll run it till it completely runs out on me, and we'll go from there. So here we are at 1 hour and 45 minutes, and pretty much other than just a minimal flood, the headlamp has automatically switched off. So obviously at this point I could no longer continue searching. I'm going to stop here and transition to my backup headlamp. It looks like, we barely made it 1 hour 45 in the mode that I was the most interested in, which is that 400 with probably about 10 minutes of use on turbo. So that's how it ended up. So we're back at the truck. I have replaced the battery pack with AA's. Just want to go through the modes. Let's start with flood. That was the high mode. Off. There's the red modes. There's the low, medium, and high. So that's flood running off of 4 Duracel Optimums. Now let's switch over to spot. That's the high mode, low, and actually turbo. So this is a maximum of 800 lumens. I think the thing to take away from tonight's evaluation is that running simultaneously in flood and spot simply drains the battery at too high a rate. I did run the spot in turbo for about a total of 10 minutes, but I got a total of 1 hour and 45 off the battery pack, which is just not acceptable for my purposes. I think it's pretty obvious with this headlamp that the spot is the real winner, and the halo that you get from this is actually rather good. I mean, I could do some serious area searching with this platform. So I think if I were to use it in practice, I would just use spot only and stick with those high and turbo modes. What I need to do is a separate evaluation after I recharge the battery pack and see how long I can actually run on, let's say a 70 to 80% high and a 20 to 30% turbo. If I can push that beyond 3 hours, then I think we've got a winner. But, this does run acceptably off of AA's. I mean, this is a very nice beam. I could go out and use this for searching right now. I may also do a separate evaluation to see how long we get off of the AA's. But the big thing to take away from tonight's eval is if you want longevity out of this battery pack, do not run simultaneous flood and spot mode, especially at that 400 or 400 1300 continuously. That's just not what that battery pack and this platform was designed for. At least for my purposes, the battery life is just not sufficient running in that mode. So I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm going to recharge the battery tomorrow and run just a pure longevity test indoors, and I will wait for the results of that before I post my final results. Thank you.